Hello and welcome to InveStar Talks, a space to curate best of information for you and your financial well-being. Today in conversation with us is Mr. Prasun Gajri. We would like you to share about unit-linked plans that can be of benefit for all our customers.
Unit-linked insurance plans, or ULIPs as we best know them, are a combination, first of all, of insurance and of investment. So effectively, you are buying insurance based on a defined goal for yourself, and at the same time, you are looking at investing a part of the money in various fund offerings which a company will provide you. So therefore, it's a great long-term option for not just ensuring your future, but also planning your long-term financial goals, irrespective of whether you are around later or not. So I think that is broadly what ULIPs is.
So what would be your advice to customers about handling these instruments during market ups and downs?
Very simple. Let's look at first of all what ULIPs are and what do they provide us, right? First of all, why are ULIPs an important financial planning instrument and tool? 2-3 things very clearly. Number one, they are very long term. You can choose a tenor, but in my view, at least 10 years should be the tenor for a normal ULIP. Number two, they are very flexible. You can choose the term of the policy, you can choose the frequency of your payment, you can choose the way you want to invest your funds, allocation to various asset classes. They are actually, over the long run, competitive in terms of charges compared to all other financial instruments which are available. So overall, these are plans which effectively take care not just of your insurance requirements, as I said, but also allow you to invest your money as per your requirements over a long period of time. So let me kind of talk to you about the basic question which you asked as to people are not willing to invest in ULIPs over a longer period of time, number one, and during market downturns they tend to withdraw. I think I've been in the markets for a fairly long period of time now, and few lessons which I have learned by being in the markets are as follows. Number one, to make money in the market, you have to be invested. You can't be out of the market and expect to make money, clearly. Number two, markets do not run in a uniform pattern. So if across the years you look, the days on which markets actually give you returns are a very small number of days. Right? So if you're not invested on those days, frankly, you'll miss out on the returns, which again tells you that you have to invest in the market over a long period of time. Now comes the question whether you should not be investing when the market goes down. I think that is the best time to invest in markets at times. Because what we're talking about is a long-term return. We are not really talking about how the market is going to behave over the next 3 months, 6 months. It's very possible that after you pay your premium, markets may go down. It's also possible that the markets may go up. So therefore, trying to time the market for even for a professional investor is a nightmare actually. And if you are pretty much a retail investor, I would definitely say that it is not advisable. And in my view, I personally don't find timing the market a great thing. It works out sometimes, it doesn't work out most of the times. So therefore, and on the final point actually speaking, if you're looking at 10 to 15 years, right? And you believe that markets over this long period will give you, if I take the historical data, give you say mid-teen kind of returns, then frankly, does it matter? The market is 4% down or 5% down today over a long period of time, it all balances out. So I am quite clear that stopping paying the premium payment for ULIPs is not a great idea at all, very clearly. ULIPs are long-term instruments. They need to be looked at like that. You have to treat investments from a longer-term point of view, be invested, and take advantage of the days on which markets actually give you returns. I think that is the broad gist of what I would like to say.
Right, Prasun. And all of us have seen through times and ups and downs in market. But also all of us know that there are emergencies in life, right? So you would want to take some money. What are the options available in unit-linked plans that, I can deal with some of the emergencies that I have, if so?
So ideally, if one is doing proper financial planning, unit-linked should not be the instrument for emergency fund requirement, right? There should be other avenues which can be really utilized for emergency fund requirements. Having said that, there are always going to be cases where people go through challenges and there is requirement for funds at that point of time. So in my view, the best option under ULIP is to look at partial withdrawals. So after your lock-in period finishes, after the 5 years, you have the ability to withdraw partially. So, and it's clearly a self-explanatory term, right? You're not withdrawing the entire money.
Right.
You're not surrendering the policy, because if you surrender, you really lose out.
Yeah.
You're withdrawing part of the money back. Yes, obviously it will lead to some lowering of your sum assured, but that is the price you pay for it. But otherwise, you can really withdraw partially based on the current prevailing NAV at that point of time. So I think that's a useful feature to have, and that allows you to kind of utilize the money which is lying in ULIP, at least up to a partial extent.
Okay, so when you mentioned about returns on policies, do these charges also get factored in, and we really can, over a period of long term, make money over our investments despite these charges? How do you?
Absolutely. I think I forgot to mention one great feature about ULIPs. They're very transparent, right? So if you look at ULIPs, it's very, very easy to understand the charges which are being levied. And charges typically come in three forms here. The first is what gets deducted from your premium, right? Second is what gets deducted as the units deduction. So units will come down to kind of pay for the charges. And third is typically asset management charge, which gets deducted before your NAV is calculated. So these are the three forms of charges. On an average, if you look at ULIPs, 2.5% of the amount is typically the charge over a period of time. Charge is not uniformly distributed over the life of the policy. Depending on which product you buy, which etc., it could vary a little bit here and there, but broadly speaking, the charges are more front-loaded than back-loaded.
Okay.
Right? So if you want to average out those charges, if you stay for the long run, your charges get averaged out. And the longer you stay, actually the average charge reduces till a particular limit. But if you really walk out earlier, you surrender the policy, or after 5 years you really decide to say lock-in period is over, good time to get out, you actually end up paying more charges. And that really eats into your returns. So effectively, charges are available in the unit statement. You can check out what those charges are. And given the way these charges are, given the way they are structured across the life of the fund, it pays to really be invested for the long run, so that on an overall basis, your charges actually become lower, and therefore your overall returns start looking better. So that is the way I would look at it. Again, coming back to the same point, please be invested for the long run.
For a good market time to get back, from a lapse to a renewal, ULIP offers a good blend of both investment and life cover. But at times, I think we think that is there a right time to kind of get and renew your policy? What's your view?
I'm not a big fan of market timing at all. Okay. Let's be very clear about it. See, if you are not really renewing, you are actually losing out, right? Some exigency may happen. You are not covered for that period of time. So why are you buying insurance? Let's be very clear in terms of why are you looking at ULIPs.
Right.
In my view, they should be based on a certain desired financial goal over a period of time, and also insurance and security for that period of time. So if you do not make your premium payments, you're actually not fulfilling that goal. So you are really defeating the very purpose for which you bought the ULIP in the first place. So that is the first part. So therefore, I really don't see any logic to not paying the premiums. And secondly, let's assume that for some reason you missed out paying, or probably there was some shortage of funds at the time of payment. You really could not make the payment, and therefore you're waiting for some period of time to make that payment. My view would be that to make that payment as early as possible for you, and not really wait for markets ups and downs. But in the overall context of things, if you wait against the benefits you get from the product and being invested, it's definitely worth the price. So therefore, waiting for it just doesn't matter. I mean, there is really no point waiting for it. So therefore, over a longer period of time, if you're actually talking about 70,000 on Nifty levels, hypothetical number, I'm saying if assuming this 12-13% kind of return comes through, then starting point really becomes quite irrelevant, right? And therefore, my advice and my sincere suggestion to everyone would be to continue investing. Keep paying your premiums, whatever frequency you have chosen, and there is flexibility in terms of what frequency you want to pay your premiums at, right? And ULIPs anyway allow you to naturally average also, right? Because you're paying premiums on a regular frequency, you are catching the ups and downs typically. So it works like a long-term systematic investment plan, if I'm going to put it that way. And therefore, you're anyway averaging out your entry in the market. So I do not believe there is any reason to time the market as far as premium payments for ULIPs are concerned.
Your risk appetite may change through your life journey or your life milestones. Is there a way for us to secure those risks and not completely be into a market or stay head? I mean, somewhere move into a less risky. How would that work out?
In the beginning, we talked about asset allocation and the fact that the customer can choose his or her asset allocation on a ULIP plan. So maybe when you're 30, you want to be far more inclined towards equity, and you choose equity, say 100% as your asset allocation. Maybe you're looking at a very long-term plan and you say at 40, 45, I want to kind of hedge my bets. And therefore, I want to kind of now be 40% fixed income and 60% equity. ULIPs absolutely allow that. There is really no problem. You can do fund switches based on intelligent asset allocation. I would really urge that fund switches should not be done just to time the market. Again, coming back to the same point. But based on your longer term financial requirements, based on what you believe are your financial goals and your lifestyle and your risk appetite, all the factors put together, you can make intelligent asset allocation choices at any point of time. So we give you choices across funds, pure equity funds, pure fixed income funds, hybrid funds. You can pick and choose depending on your risk appetite, your requirements, which fund works for you, which doesn't, completely the customer's choice. And we reveal the portfolio of these funds, so completely transparent in terms of where the money is invested. So absolutely, the choice is available to the customer and the customer can exercise that choice depending on their requirement.
So Prasun, while you have responded to most of the queries customers have, there is one question that is on the table, which is what is our investment philosophy? Can you throw some light to kind of get us more aware about it?
Sure, that's a great question. See, we have a fairly simple investment philosophy. ULIPs are meant for the long run, and therefore our fund investment philosophy is also based on long-term returns. On the equity side, our intention is to beat the underlying benchmark over a longer period of time. When I say longer period of time, I'm talking about 3, 5, 7, 10 years. And I think broadly we have succeeded in doing so across our funds. Most of our funds are actually beating the benchmarks and doing quite well, and therefore creating long-term wealth for our policyholders. On the fixed income side, our philosophy is safety in the first place. Try and minimize the risk in the funds and generate good long-term returns in line with the fixed income markets. And our funds have again succeeded in doing that as well. So broadly, very simple, not trying to kind of do too many things. Our investment philosophy is driven by the need of the underlying funds and the requirements of our customers. And our funds are primarily returning based on this philosophy, and the details are available in the fund fact sheet, which we release every month, which gives the details of individual funds, the underlying investments, the shorter term, longer term returns. All I would urge is that shorter term returns, while they are important from a customer's perspective, they should not be the determining criteria for making the investments. So what one should look at is longer term returns from these funds, and choose funds wisely based on your own financial goals.
So for all of us, I think it was a very insightful conversation, Prasun. 3 things which I can, I've gathered, and I'm sure it resonates with all of us. One is insurance is a long-term instrument. It is a best blend of both an investment and an insurance cover. And I think it's very important to safeguard that policy. Any emergency, obviously you have options such as partial withdrawal, but insurance should be the last one given that it is a cover. Absolutely. So preserve your insurance, that's the second. So one is it's a long-term investment return. Second, preserve your insurance. And lastly, we have to keep a watch on funds. How do the markets, if at all we see a reason that we want to switch into a lesser riskier fund, those options are available.
And those options should be exercised based on longer term goals, financial goals and asset allocation requirements, and not based on shorter term market movements.
Perfect.
That's all I would
Perfect. Thank you, Prasun. It was real insightful talk, and being in conversations with you was a pleasure. I'm sure all of us have gathered a lot from what you have said.
The pleasure is indeed mine, and it was very nice talking to you. I hope our policyholders and prospective policyholders keep invested for the longer run and live a life of pride.
Thank you, Prasun.